Now this is going to be fun. Coming up on the Cocktail Guru podcast, it's a special 2-part season finale captured live at the 20th Annual Tales of the Cocktail Conference in New Orleans. Join us as we dig deep and dig delicious with some of the hospitality industry's most dynamic movers, shakers, and stirrers, including Jägermeister brand Meister Willy Shine, restaurant legend Dickie Brennan, William Grants, Charlotte Voisey, Bodega Lustau, Stephen Dragoon, Tullamore Dew's Jillian Murphy, Whiskey Wizard Dave Schmier, and more. Well, Dad.
John, I can't believe we're here.
We're here in person.
We're live and in person.
Live and in person.
For the first time.
Very, very special season finale, double feature, double episode of the Cocktail Guru podcast. Yeah. Live from
the Big Easy.
The Big Easy is New Orleans, Louisiana, but more specifically, Loa Bar at the International House Hotel. They are so kind, and Abigail is our dear, dear friend.
She is.
And she is directly behind us. I'm just going to turn...
Hey, y'all. How you doing?
Hello, Abigail.
There she is. Oh, my gosh. You are amazing.
Thank you. Thank you for coming this morning in my beautiful bar. I actually love this bar during the day. We're usually only open at night, so it's a real treat to have people and be making cocktails under the light of day for you all today.
And Abigail and I go way, way back to the New York cocktail days. But you traveled around a bit. You moved to New Orleans and then Seattle, and now you're back.
And now I'm back. I don't know. Someone told me once, to live in New York City, you have to be successful. To live in Los Angeles, you have to be good looking. But to live in New Orleans, you just have to be yourself. And I've never been more myself than living here in New Orleans. And I take that with me wherever I go. But there's something special about just being here.
Well, I agree. There is,
and
something.
We agree because we are just being ourselves. Yes,
always
we are.
Yourself. But New Orleans really is very special, and to be here for Tales of the Cocktail,
there's just so much history here, so many different cultural influences that I love: Spanish, French, African, Portuguese. It's just amazing, and the cuisine reflects that. And when I come here, I spend my time eating and drinking my way.
Yes, you do.
New Orleans.
Yes, you do. We all know that.
Yeah.
Well, we have a really amazing lineup of guests, and it's going to be just kind of like a rotating array of some of our favorite people. Some people who represent brands, some people who don't, and we're also going to be showcasing some amazing brands.
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Some amazing brands and amazing people.
Shall we bring on our first guest?
Absolutely. This is a very special first guest.
This segment, ladies and gentlemen, is brought to us by Glenmorangie Single Malt Scotch Whiskey and Monin Gourmet Syrups, because we're going to be making a cocktail with both, and our very special guest, please.
Dan Crowell, who is the National Brand Ambassador for Glenmorangie, better known as Glenmo. And please come in, Dan.
He's right here.
Thank
wow,
you.
look
He's
at that.
right here in New Orleans, live with us.
Dan, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Wow.
It's an honor to be with you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you go, Dad. You go way back. With Glenmo.
This is such an honor.
I can call it Glenmo. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
I think that's what the kids
Yes,
call it.
they
You know
do.
what? I always called it Glenmorangie, but I'm showing my age by doing that. But it's near and dear.
There are
to
other
my
things
heart.
that show your age.
Oh, I'm
that,
sure.
Dad. Oh, zing.
Yeah.
That was a little zing. I'm sorry.
Okay, we'll bypass that comment. It's just a brand that I love because I used to represent it. So this is in what's the term? Full disclosure.
Yeah.
I used to work for Glenmorangie. And I worked with a guy named Dr. Bill Lumsden, who was a fantastic Scotch whiskey distiller. He is in charge of everything that is Glenmo in Scotland, single malt Scotch whiskey, of course. And they produce things like the original. That's the very first.
I'm a little thirsty, Dad.
Well, please, let's have some X. Some X.
Yes,
We have the newest product.
We have some of it right over here. We're gonna just pour a little.
But
samples.
we have such a lineup of lovely malts from Glenmo.
Thank you, sir.
In addition to the original, there's Nectar d'Or, which is aged in Sauterne casks.
Mm-hmm.
There's La Santa, which is aged in sherry casks. And there's such great complexity and richness of flavor. in all Glenmorangie Scotch whiskies. But what I have learned over the years is that the quality of the product, the great complexity, will earn your respect and loyalty just as it has my own.
And Dan, can you tell us a little bit about how you came to start working with Glenmorangie? Because you've been with the company for quite a few years there. And I mean, it's kind of like a part of your life.
It is. The funny thing is, when I started on the distributor side, this was 20 years ago, the first set of malts that I represented was Glenmorangie, Ardbeg, and the Diageo Classic malts. And it just proved to be a point of fascination, to the point that I started attending festivals around the country just to hear Dr. Bill speak. And so I'd volunteer to pour the room just to kind of get near the guy and understand a little bit more about the product, yes, but about the man as well.
Oh yeah.
And those insights led to not only a greater understanding of the liquid itself, but just a fascination with him, with the category, with Glenmorangie as a brand. So when the opportunity came to step into this role, I leaped at it.
Dr. Bill is one of the great Scotch whiskey distillers and great master blenders of the industry, and he is a legend.
I'm going to taste it. Can we do a little taste?
Let's do that. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, first of all, cheers.
Cheers.
Happy
Absolutely.
Tales.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You've been to Tales before.
I have, yeah.
Oh, that reminds me of a song. Happy Tales to you.
That's a lovely song.
Ta-da. Yes, I grew up
Let's
hearing
just
that
put a pin in that one.
song. Happy Trails by Roy Rogers.
Just a little pin, like a big pin in that. And I'd like to just enjoy the warmth that I get when I drink this. And what is really interesting, I did a lot of work for Glenmo when Dad was also working at Moet Hennessy and afterwards. And brands oftentimes struggle to kind of get through into the modern day, and especially with Gen X, Y, Z, and whatever.
Absolutely.
Is this specific bottling, the X, kind of a mode of bringing Glenmo into the 21st century?
I think to a degree, yes. If you created a pie chart of every legal drinking age person on earth, and then the segment of the pie dedicated to the people who are already devoted to single malt Scotch whiskey, would be a very small segment.
Yeah.
So we felt like we needed to step outside the category and begin to grab people by the collar and drag them in using modes that heretofore are not or were not necessarily part of the single malt vernacular. It is a category that I think historically hasn't necessarily provided the widest and most open door or the lowest barrier of entry. In fact, those things have been relatively closed off.
Yeah.
So we felt like it was time to do something about that, and X is the response to that.
And I think, is it meant as a mixing?
It's certainly, the way that it is engineered is to provide complexity and inspiration, to not get lost in a cocktail, but also to be malleable enough to be able to be applied to a broad spectrum of cocktail types.
Yeah. Speaking of sorry.
No, I
don't
was
want
just
to
to say it has the structure,
Oh,
not
yes.
just the complexity and richness of flavor, but the structure to hold up in a cocktail and to shine through.
Can we talk? Yeah. So speaking of shining through and holding up in cocktails, I'd like to see what Abigail has.
What does she have for us?
So exciting.
What she has on deck for us, cocktail-wise,
Indeed.
with Glenmorangie. You want to tell us what you're thinking of?
Absolutely. So this is a little cocktail I like to call Paris Between the Wars. It contains ingredients. It got me thinking. I was using ingredients that were Allied countries in World War I, Scotland, a little red bitter from Italy, and a little orgeat for a little flavor, a little lemon, and topping it with some French cider. And then, but Italy kind of broke off during World War II, so it got me thinking, what happened in between the wars? And I thought, Paris. That's what happened between the wars. So we're gonna do 2 ounces of this beautiful Glenmorangie.
Excellent.
In this cocktail, we are going to do a 1/2 ounce of orgeat.
The Monin orgeat.
Orgeat.
Love it.
Or Yacht, I love how that's said. I often list it on my menu as almond, just in case people have
Right.
allergies, right?
Same.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do almond parentheses or Yacht.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, a little gentle educational nudge.
Yeah. Yeah. You want people to know what's going on. A little lemon juice, a little Campari, just a little bit of that Italian bitter. I'm going to do just about between 3/4 and a half ounce because I really want this whiskey to shine through.
Yeah.
Give that a little shake.
Beautiful flavor.
Love the sound.
This
One of
one's
my favorites.
this one's a pretty one too. I like pretty cocktails. And in true New Orleans style, we're kind of going to serve it a little bit like a French 75. So I guess this could be a French 75 variation. Oh, wait a minute. What did I do with my? I lost my cider. Oh, here it is.
There it is.
Sparkling.
Ta-da!
Some bubbles.
You know what they say? It's out of cider, out of mind.
Out of cider.
They do say that. I've heard that said in the past.
Very good.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
So
That was a good one.
fully sparkling cider. I hear that.
Yeah. The apple notes in single malt scotch are kind of one of my favorite little things to pick out. So I like playing with lemon and apple because that's like my favorite. It reminds me of my mom's apple pie recipe.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Right?
Is that
Lemon,
French
apple.
cider?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yes, it is.
Very good.
And here we pass
Here
you
we
down.
go. Yes.
I got
Thank you.
made little tasters for each of you in our
Thank you.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.
At
Oh,
Loa,
that's
we use
beautiful.
all
Look at that.
vintage glassware.
Oof.
That's
Forage.
That's amazing.
In
Thank
thrift
you.
stores across the great American South.
Indeed.
That looks like a rosé.
Your grandmother's glassware might be here. Cheers,
Well,
y'all.
Cheers. Cheers.
Everybody at home watching
Cheers.
on
Yes.
YouTube.
Please join in with us. Glenmorangie loves.
Indeed.
Also, if there is any episode of the Cocktail Guru podcast to watch on the YouTube, I sound like a boomer. On the YouTube, it is this one. And on the website, actually, thecocktailgurupodcast.com. Our executive producer, Carrie, is reminding me to mention the website.
Abigail, this is incredible. This is delicious.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really, just
Visually
beautiful.
and
Oh my gosh.
organoleptically.
This is amazing.
Delicious.
Oh, that
You wanna
cider,
try?
the sparkles.
Oh, you have one.
And the
I
Glen-
made one for myself
The
too.
Good.
Glenmo just blends in perfectly with the other
I think our,
It's really
our
good.
crew kind of wants to taste.
Actually, in many ways, it's a little too
Our
easy to drink.
It's
In the Big
it's
Easy.
extraordinary.
It's delicious.
Wow. And what's so let's just chat a little bit more while we're sipping on our cocktail. What's next for Glenmorangie? Is there any big sort of plan or?
Yes. In fact, there are a number of fairly significant plans between now and the end of 2023. Quite a number of innovation items coming out that I can't necessarily talk about right this minute, but it's sort of a watch this space idea. A couple of days ago, we announced a fairly significant packaging change for the core range of Glenmorangie that I think will be, in some quarters, possibly controversy-inducing, and that's okay. I think any conversation about Scotch whiskey is constructive because it draws more attention to the category. Glenmorangie is a long name, so when you try to put it on a single line, it takes a fairly small font. And we decided to break out of that box a little bit with the new packaging. So that's going to happen. We just released Glenmorangie Grand Vintage 1998, which will be, and I hope this isn't super breaking news, that'll be the last of the Grand Vintage releases before something even more spectacular and fascinating comes along. And then by 2023, the innovation schedule is lights out. So keep an eye on what's up at Glenmorangie.
Yeah, watch this space.
Wow, there's always something new happening.
Indeed, Dr. Bill is a
With the-
restless man.
With Dr. Bill, I was
Yes.
going to say exactly. He is a wrestler. And thank goodness for that.
Indeed.
One of my most fondest Glenmorangie memories was doing an event with David Blackmore commemorating the Titanic.
Oh,
That was
Right
many
on.
years ago. It was probably was it the 100th anniversary of the Titanic?
I believe it was.
Yes.
Yes.
But it was amazing, and it was a huge bash, and it was just so much fun.
that sounds like a great time, even with David involved.
Right.
I'm kidding. I love David. He's awesome.
Even with David involved. He's great.
And you know what I love from, well, I was just going to think of something else, but that's okay.
That's all right.
We have so much more to
It is-
talk about.
it is okay.
I don't know where to begin.
I know.
Mhm.
Well, this has been amazing, Dan, and it's been so great to have you as our guest.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Our first guest of this season finale episode
In
of the
New
Cocktail
Orleans.
Podcast.
In New Orleans, at
Absolute
Loa
pleasure.
Bar.
What do you
Wow.
guys? Just real quick, what are you guys doing at Tales of the Cocktail?
We,
now, when this airs, Tales will already be done.
Sure.
But yeah, what have you guys been doing here?
We front loaded this week with some X specific activities. We were involved in Brown and Balanced, which was a lot of fun. And then the Tuesday of Tales Week, we did a little bit more of an expose, no pun intended, regarding what X is about, why it exists. We've developed a web-based tool for bartenders and trade people. The website is whiskeyspiritofpossibility.com. And so we walked some folks from the trade through that on Tuesday. And then yesterday was really more of intel gathering, seeing what our friends in the single malt world are up to, and garnering a few very interesting. We've met some great folks and have seen some amazing activations. So it's been a packed week. But really impressive.
This Glenmo X is just super.
I'm glad you really enjoyed it.
I'm impressed, and I know the Glenmorangie line pretty well, and have worked with it for quite a while.
It is.
This is very good and perfect for mixing with cocktails.
I'm glad you feel that way.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks very much. It was a
Take
pleasure.
care. Pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Dan.
All right.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John, it's incredible how the hits just keep coming here.
Yes, they do.
Our
It's
guest
true.
list is fantastic.
I know, we have
Very
amazing
impressive.
guests. And our next guest really needs no introduction. She is a veteran Cocktail Guru team member. It is none other than Pamela Wiznitzer. Come on over,
Come
Pam.
on, Pam.
Yay!
Thank you. And as I like to say, nobody beats the whiz.
Nobody beats the whiz.
And here she
My
is,
phrase.
right
Oh
there.
my gosh.
Coined by someone else.
Well, we have so much that we could obviously talk about. We're here
We should.
in New Orleans.
Yes, we are.
At Tales of the Cocktail. We've worked together this past week. Yeah. Go team. That
Yeah.
was us slapping.
We do it at all of our events.
In
No,
case.
thanks to the Cocktail Guru. Our team activates down here, and that is why I'm at Tales of the Cocktail this year, is to be with our team and to work our events.
Thank you. Yeah. But we were talking off camera about a couple of potential topics that we could, chat about. And are you ready?
Yeah.
I think that these are great. First
Bring
of
it
all,
on.
I'd like to talk about Pam Wiznitzer travel hacks,
Oh, yeah.
because you travel a lot, and you actually spent some time traveling all over the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you have some things that are like really down pat.
Deeply innate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we were talking before because you said, oh, we might go swimming later. And I said, oh, I always have a bathing suit.
Yeah.
My mother is a very smart woman. And there's a few things that she embedded within us when we were little. And she said, when we traveled, number one, you always bring a fold-up tote in any suitcase. Because if something should happen, you need extra storage, you buy something really cool, you don't have to worry about another bag, right? So that's very helpful. Or in the case of me, I had to ditch a checked-in bag because I didn't make the time. So I had to move into a carry-on and it was a whole thing at the airport. But number two, always pack a swimsuit. Now, we used to go visit my grandma in like Ohio in the winter times where it's cold. And she said, pack a bathing suit, because you never know if there's a hotel pool or you're like in Sweden on a trip in the middle of February and you're the only person in a group that packed a swimsuit to enjoy the nice pool on the inside of the hotel. But always pack a swimsuit. You never know.
We were talking some other time, weeks ago, about hosting parties, and that your mother was a great hostess and you used to serve hors d'oeuvres and appetizers.
Yeah, I mean,
during your mother's parties. And I swear, even based on what you just said, that you and I did have the same mother.
oh,
Because my mother's
I see the
my mother's packing
little
philosophy
weird.
was exactly the same.
well, it's funny. I see the resemblance in us.
Yeah.
So
we
it's,
could be related.
yeah, we absolutely could be. Yeah, so she just says those, and the other good one, especially for anyone who is cocktail oriented, when you go and you travel, you're oftentimes going to buy really amazing bottles of alcohol, or maybe you get a special bottle of wine wherever you are. And you're like, how do I pack this in my suitcase? You put sweatshirts around it. Aha.
Ah.
You know those armbands that you use in the pool, the flotation devices that you inflate?
Yes.
So my mom
Floaties.
says you should always bring two of those. They're deflated because they take no space, and it fits exactly around a bottle, and then you put it around and you inflate it around the bottle, and then it protects it in your bag.
That is an incredible hack.
I know.
Everyone is in amazement. around
Everyone.
here.
I also say bring baggies in your like Ziplocs in your bag when you go to the Delta Club, so you can bring snacks on the airplane. But that's my little travel hack.
And you all thought we were going to have tips about cocktails today.
But actually, that hack that you just mentioned is that like the neater modern day version of stuffing your pocketbook with?
Yes,
like,
it's still stuffing your pocket, but cleaner and more efficiently.
Well, we always need travel tips, don't we, in addition
Yeah.
to cocktail
Yes,
tips.
yes.
So thank you for that.
Oh, always. I just want everyone to be an effective traveler.
And then also, if you feel comfortable
Yeah.
talking about Pam's love life,
Oh yeah, that's another dating show to watch,
it could be a
but
whole dating show.
it could be. Yeah, it's always it's always a good topic of conversation. But I think it actually closely relates to cocktails in the hospitality industry.
Okay.
Well, I'd say most dates that people go on happen to be in bars, right, or restaurants or coffee shops. So working within the industry and then engaging in ways to meet people that use our venues as vehicles in order to conduct those dates is always a really interesting hybrid. Because oftentimes, like, I'll have to veto venues if I know my friends own them. They're like, oh, let's go to Clover Club. I'm like, nope, because you just don't want to run into your friends
Right.
and have that exposure. But it's also really fun because sometimes you get to see places you would never go to
Yeah.
that way. And, and also people get weird when they find out what I do, because then they get stuck on, they have to like order a cool cocktail or cool spirit because I'm around, instead of sometimes authentically being themselves.
Right. Wow.
I know. It's a whole layer of complication.
And Pam, since we're on the subject of cocktails, what would be your desert island drink? If you were stranded, had nothing else
Is
with
there
you,
ice there?
There's everything you need to make whatever
So you're
it is
thinking
you
of
choose.
this desert island thing because we usually ask all of our guests.
That's right.
That same question.
That's right.
So thanks for.
So here's the thing. I'd like to turn it on Jonathan, because I think Jonathan has traveled with me enough and has seen me drink a bunch over the years. I feel like he could probably pick at least the 3 different drinks that I would maybe say for this.
Oh my god. Oh gosh. I feel like one of them might be vermouth bubbles and bitters, something like that.
Yeah, champagne.
Champagne.
Always.
Yeah.
But Jeffrey knows that because that's how we first met, when he was a champagne specialist. And I was like, this guy's got it. This guy's got the life.
Yes.
So yeah.
But like something low ABV also.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, probably a glass of champagne or a frozen mudslide with the extra chocolate sauce like swirled on the inside.
Or a margarita with a beer overturned into it.
Oh yeah, that is
what's
a
called?
specialty, a decadent specialty that we love.
Oh my gosh.
There's
There's a name for that, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Well, Corona Rita?
Corona Rita, maybe?
We're not sponsored by Corona. But
No,
that's
but
okay.
I think that, so look, my favorite drinks, I always have like a 5, and it's either like a 50-50 gin martini, a cognac old fashioned, a jungle bird, a frozen mudslide, or a glass of champagne. So I'm kind of all over the board.
Yeah.
Or a New York sour. I do love those as well.
That 50-50 gin martini sounds awfully good.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if the sun was too hot, I think I'd have to go frozen mudslide.
Oh, I love a good frozen.
Yeah, me too. It's my favorite.
So good. So what do you think about being back at Tales of the Cocktail?
I think it's wonderful. The past 2.5 years have been really hard on everybody globally. There's no doubt about it. Been really hard on this city in particular. New Orleans shut down harder than most cities did, and the effect that it had on the hospitality industry, the permanent damage. You can still see it as you're here. I'm just happy that not only are people back at Tales of the Cocktail, but there's like a new wave, a new generation that are here, and they're filling up the seats that are attending the events that get to experience all the magic for the first time.
Yeah.
So even if you're a veteran of 20 years, like some people are here, and that range, or it's your first time, I think it's a really great opportunity to see a revamp of something that we've, so beloved that we really enjoyed. There's great programs, there's great parties, there's great seminars, and hopefully it'll just keep growing from here.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've noticed, and what's wonderful about this resilience of New Orleans,
My
is
favorite
that
word.
there are a great many restaurants that have survived and continue to thrive. Many of the great historic restaurants
Yes.
in New Orleans, like Antoine's and many others. and they're still here, and they're still around, and they're still thriving. And Brennan's is another.
Oh yeah,
It's just wonderful to see those restaurants still here and still going strong.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. It gives a lot of hope after so many things did shutter, that we want to see. But also that also makes space for new places to open, maybe that's been someone's hope and dream and now has the ability to shine and to open it.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is really exciting.
Oh my God, so exciting.
Yeah.
What kind of what things do you have going on back at home? Back in New York.
Well,
Yeah.
in the Big Apple. Well, I'm a proud member of the Cocktail Guru team. And so I'm not going to be that plug today. But honestly and truly, and we've talked about it before, Jonathan kept a lot of us employed during the pandemic, especially. And it's really wonderful to work with some of the industry's best on our team. You have an incredible crew that you call gurus across the country. And we all are really proud to work underneath this umbrella organization. And so I have like a lot of work that I'm doing with you. I've got a few things I can't fully talk about yet, which is really cool. That'll be coming up. Working with some brands and companies, and just making people laugh on my Instagram, and that's really
you've got quite a following on social media, and you always put out these amazing, fun, enthusiastic, lighthearted, comedic videos, reels.
Yeah, I found
cool.
during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Everyone reacted differently, and when you bottle me up in an apartment for a long time, I just got to do something. And I realized the pain that was felt by people, and I have no problem having people just kind of like laugh with me and at me. It's kind of like that scene in like Sound of Music in Singing in the Rain, where it's like make them laugh. And I just said, let's do it. Let's get people to smile a bit more. So I started making these like kooky cocktail videos that people enjoyed. They're like low budget, high production value. I don't know. It's kind of like the high low.
Yeah, I think that the production value is really high. I mean, like
I'm looking right in the camera when I say this. It was not high production value. It was some filters. Some weird props that I had, and just knowing how to lip sync.
Really weird props that you had during the pandemic. I mean, like, guys, you need to look it up, and it's just wild.
Yeah, it was fun. I just really enjoyed that. People reached out and they're like, that made my day, or I waited for your video, because it's not like that. It wasn't any monetary gain, none at all. It was just purely to make sure that people who were hurting weren't hurting as badly.
That's awesome. Love what you do, and you're a prized member of the Cocktail Guru team.
One of the brightest shining stars of the Cocktail Guru team.
Stop. It's an honor.
I might add.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for being one of our guests.
Yeah, this is great. I'm so honored.
I will see you later. Well, I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow morning at our breakfast.
But I'll probably see you later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe at the pool.
Yes, pool.
We're staying. My dad and I are at the Omni, and they have a really good.
Fabulous. I have my swimsuit.
Meet us at the pool.
We'll see you there.
Okay.
You forgot your dad. What's the first thing I asked?
I don't
you
need
this
a
morning?
swimsuit.
I asked him if he brought his bathing suit.
I
Oh God. What does that mean, Dad? Please.
Whatever you wanted to.
No. And on that note, thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Jonathan,
Yes, Dad.
this rolling podcast is just incredible. I love it.
You love mentioning that.
Live and in person. But I also wanted to mention that New Orleans is not disappointing. As we sit here to do our different episodes, it is pouring rain outside and very windy. And I happen to love rain and wind and storms. And we have seen that over the last couple of days here in New Orleans.
I love rain, wind, and storms from inside.
When I don't have to go out. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
But I must say our guests have added so much sunshine to what we're doing, to our lives today.
Oh my gosh,
that it doesn't matter how stormy it gets outside.
And speaking of sunshine, the Sunshine King is next. And I say that because he does brighten up rooms when he walks into them. He's an amazing guy, cocktail bartender. And I know him from doing things in Colorado. And he is Colorado-based, Denver-based. And I'd love to have him come on. Dad, would you like McLain Hedges to come in?
I would love McLain.
Come on in,
Come in,
McLain.
McLain Hedges.
Storm is rolling in. Y'all watch out.
Welcome.
So now we have another storm. McLain Hedges.
How's it going, y'all?
Oh,
It's
man.
great.
Oh my
Thank
gosh,
you.
thank you.
How
So
are you feeling?
wonderful.
Good.
No, I mean, this whole week has brought a lot of renewed energy, and it's just been wonderful. So I appreciate you having me here. We're just excited.
Well, it's great. We're happy to be here at Loa Bar, right at the International House Hotel here
Beautiful.
in New Orleans.
And McLain, how long have you been coming to Tales of the Cocktail?
Oh my gosh, I'm going to say this is, I believe, our 8th year down.
Yeah.
Consistently, I think we actually had 1 year in between that we weren't able to come, so maybe 9 actually. But New Orleans is like home. I mean, my wife Mary, her family is from down here.
Okay.
We spend as much time as we can in New Orleans outside of Tales, and Tales is certainly like the homecoming of all, because you got all your friends and everybody else that you don't get to see a lot. So it's truly special. Yeah.
It really is a special place.
Yeah.
And so you're in Denver, and can you tell us a little bit about what's happening in Denver, what you're doing, and what the scene is like?
Gosh, Denver captured our heart about 10 years ago. We've been out there, just over a decade, and it's been just a wild ride. The city itself has, been extremely welcoming, a lot like, New Orleans and any really great city. The hospitality is amazing, and the city welcomed us, like I said, about a decade ago, and we've kept our head down, been working hard, and got our bar open this past December, and it's just, thank you so much.
What's the bar again?
It's called Yacht Club.
Yeah.
Yacht Club.
You got it. There's a lot of, really, it's a really coastal environment out there. So
I was wondering, there's a yacht club without.
We're on the mighty Platte River, just off of it, and no, it's the idea is clubs are where people gather with like-minded individuals, and this club in particular is welcoming for all. So you don't have to be exclusive or have some sort of membership. Everyone's a member and everyone's welcome. So.
I thought maybe you built your own waterway.
Oh my gosh.
Housed it with yachts.
Yeah. Well, we're working on that.
Well, I agree,
quite an undertaking.
I agree with you about hospitality in Denver. I have been going to Denver for a very long time in my active wine and spirit days. Denver was one of my regular stops.
Well, it is. Yeah.
And I know I'm showing my age, but I wanted to mention, because I used to stay in this particular hotel called the Brown Palace, which is still a great historic hotel and still going strong.
100%.
Yeah.
Every year they have the stock show out there, and they, at the end of the stock show, they parade all the big animals through, and they always walk them through the Brown Palace Hotel still. Right. And it's one of those, it's a spectacle. And
we used to do champagne saberings at the Brown Palace, I think, every New Year's Eve.
I love it.
Yeah. Great events.
Now I'm thirsty for champagne.
Yes.
So thank you.
Yes. And where did you come from? You said you moved to Denver about 10 years ago?
Chattanooga, Tennessee is home. Family is all still there. We've still got some roots back there, and start spending a little more time back that way as often as we can.
Chattanooga, and what's the bar scene like there?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, honestly, Chattanooga is one of those cities that is right in between Nashville and Atlanta and so many other great cities in the South. Everyone is kind of moving inward almost, and it feels like those two cities are almost connected by Chattanooga, and so you're starting to see a lot of pretty exciting stuff happening. And every time I go home, I'm just more and more enthused by what home is becoming, and inspired by being in the South in general. Coming back to this area is always refreshing. There's a lot of really great energy happening down here, and it's just nice to get back home and see what's going on, and then get back, to Colorado as home, and have that renewed energy, and it's really great.
And tell us what kinds of things you do at the Yacht Club.
Oh my gosh!
What are your favorite cocktails to mix up there?
Dad, you can't ask what the favorite cocktails are.
I know they're all favorites
of a menu that someone has designed. Every time a guest asks me, "Well, which one would you have? Or what's your favorite?"
But
they're all my freaking favorites.
Rephrase it.
That's why I created them.
Are there one or two specialty cocktails?
Sure. I mean, our style is.
Or are there 30 different specialty cocktails?
Special for each individual, 100%.
Yes, exactly.
Everyone's got their own thing that makes them tick, but we have a lot of Yacht Club. Again, it is a cocktail bar, but it's also a wine bar, and it's also a neighborhood bar. we're kind of a little bit of it all. We were always kind of like trying, when we had a place that we want to spend our time in, and we are spending most of our time, we wanted it to be a place that had everything that we love. And it doesn't have to be one of those things. It can be all of those things if you really put the time and effort into it. And, our goal was, give everybody a little bit of it all that we've got and give it our all. And so, yeah, I mean, you can come in and have a hot dog and a Jack and Coke for $9 every single day until 2 a.m.
Dad's reaction.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But you can also come in and drink cocktails, or a bottle of Burgundy and champagne or whatever you want. So it's definitely not it's a choose your own adventure sort of situation.
Can someone out there make a meme of Dad's reaction when you said hot dog?
Well,
Because that reaction was priceless.
Well,
There was like,
let's be frank. I really.
The hot dogs, we created a sub brand under it, and it is Hollywood Franks is the hot dog, the brand behind the hot dogs. So,
And is it local?
we do use Colorado-based hot dogs from a company called River Bear, but it's just another way, another outlet of creativity and something we can just have fun with. I think that like the hot dog is one of those things that breaks down barriers in a lot of ways. Anyone can enjoy one as long assuming you eat meat and not every but there are other opportunities to still enjoy hot dogs that if you are vegetarian or something.
Sure.
But no, I mean it is like a food that it kind of breaks down barriers and everyone has access to it, right? And we can all wrap our head around it. So yeah, they're delicious. I eat too many these days, but
Well, hot dogs would be one of my desert island foods to bring with me.
my God.
But what is your desert island cocktail?
Ooh, my gosh.
If you have to choose.
If I always champagne, and if that is on ice with some citrus, and maybe we have a drink on our menu called the Champagne Mojito, obviously inspired by all the things that I think we love in our life at the bar. We certainly lean towards rum. We're not a tropical bar. We are slightly coastal influence. But other than that, we kind of lean on a little bit of everything. But in particular, the Champagne Mojito is one that's become very popular in the bar, as well as just amongst staff. And anytime you need a little pick-me-up in your life, it is, it's bubbly and refreshing and has depth and a little bit of tropical side to it.
So there you have it, champagne and hot dogs for me. Yep, I got it.
So when we go, that's what he's going to have. I'm going to try everything.
I'll have them lined up and
Please
ready.
put in the order.
That's amazing.
I'm there.
It's on standby.
I used to go to Colorado all the time for
Yeah.
apres-ski cocktail class, which I think is at this point no more.
It is, yeah.
It's unfortunate.
But Aspen's still there, and the people are still there. Yeah.
Great place.
It is a great place. Well, McLain, thank you so much for taking the time out.
Thank you.
It's always great to see you.
Always. It like truly feels like home being here with y'all.
I know.
Love seeing you with your family, and I appreciate you having me
Thank
on.
you.
It's wonderful
absolutely.
to see you.
Thanks, man.
likewise.
Thank you very much.
Take
Hey,
care.
cheers, y'all. You too.
Cheers.
Okay, so our guests thus far have been pretty amazing, and we're just continuing on with amazing guests.
I love this concept of a rolling podcast. I think
know.
we should do this all the time.
I think you've
In
said
person.
I think each of these segments you've opened by saying rolling podcast.
Yes, that's how
which
I
is-
call this, a rolling podcast,
Which
because
is
we just
okay.
keep rolling and moving along, and one guest after. It's fantastic. It's great. I love it.
We have Abigail's starting to make up a cocktail behind us because we have another great spirit coming on, and someone who represents this great spirit happens to be a great person, a great man, a great guy, a great dad, a great husband. We're in the same boat. Yes, he's raising the roof. Not raving the roof. That's something different.
And this is one of the great personalities of our industry who I have known for quite a while now.
Let's bring him in. Willy
Well,
Shine.
Wait a second. But I said before that we have such great, bright, shining stars to brighten up our day. Well, now I can say we actually have a true shine whose name is Willy. Willy Shine, a great
Willy
star.
Shine.
What's happening, guys?
Shining star.
Oh,
Thanks,
I see
Willy.
what I see what you did there. Well done.
Thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here, guys. What's going on?
Willy, you and I go back many years.
Many moons.
Many moons.
Yeah.
But I always think about the very first place. I don't know if it was actually the first place that you worked in New York City with the likes of Leo.
Yep.
And Aisha.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell people a little bit about that?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So that was Bed,
Yes.
New York. That was 2003 till about 2007.
Yeah.
Incredible venue. First, I'll start it off like this. We put together a family of incredible bartenders and staff that have gone on to do just superb things in this industry.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Tim Cooper. You know, God rest his soul, John Lemaire. You know,
Yeah.
Remy Chaubaton, Edwin Medina. Like so many wonderful humans and souls that were in that building. But we also kicked off roof bar lifestyle
Right.
within New York City. Like we had this crazy killer rooftop bar that was, just fantastic. And for a good 4 years, it was killer. So 2 floors, 5th floor, I think it was on 28th Street between like 9th and 10th, kind of nightclub row back then, you know?
Yeah.
And the first floor was, we had really great DJs, amazing artists that would come in. There were beds everywhere. You could have dinner.
Right.
But there was a
rolling
rolling Bloody Mary cart. Like we did literally everything there. It was unbelievable and so much fun. Yeah, that was a great venue, and kicked it off for us for sure.
I'm getting a little old, Willy, but I went to BED when it first opened. So could you refresh my memory as to what year that was? Do you remember?
Yeah, so that was like 2003.
Yeah.
2004, right around
wasn't
there.
all
And
that long?
BED, bed. So we had all the beds all around on the dance floor, but it standed for beverage, entertaining, and dining.
I thought that was one of the most decadent and sexiest places I had ever been to.
It
in my
really
life.
was.
It was revolutionary.
It really was.
Now others have copied it since.
Oh, yeah.
but that was the first.
Yeah.
With-
No, for
with
sure.
Beds. I mean, can you imagine walking into what you think is a bar or restaurant, and you're encountering beds everywhere?
I mean,
Yeah.
very like South Beach,
Yep.
Miami.
Yep. And that's where it kind of kicked off. But we were also on Sex and the City.
What?
We were in Sex and the City back then, man. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
with
Yeah.
beautiful-
Cosmos.
Yeah, rocking Cosmos.
Yeah.
That's
And
right.
beautiful people everywhere.
Yep, the beautiful people. The first bar I worked at, I actually opened up a restaurant when I first got here, or got to New York in like 2002. And it was called the Biltmore Room. We got 3 stars in New York Times.
Oh, wow. Wait a second.
And that was my restaurant.
So hard transition here. Let's go right into what you're doing now, and Meister Jägermeister and the brands that we're featuring.
And Willy Shine is brand Meister, I might add.
Yeah, that's the title. Brand Meister. A lot of shoes to fill. So listen, what I'm doing now is really a continuation of what I was doing. So and as you know, because you still do it entrepreneurially, one of the first, consultant companies to open up back in like 2005, 2006, 2007. With Contemporary Cocktails and Aisha. And so opening bars, restaurants, beverage programs, festivals, you name it, was doing it up until 2015, and listen, we were killing it. I was killing it. But then, I had a little back surgery action, had 3 kids, had to put a stake in the ground out in Long Island. So I had a conversation with my wonderful wife, Diana, and Jägermeister came knocking, and it was just a wonderful opportunity. I couldn't give up. I mean, I always say that there isn't another brand I don't think that would have ever pulled me out of what I was doing other than what Jägermeister is, because it is family owned, because they let us be entrepreneurial underneath that umbrella, which is wonderful.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm the brand Meister at Meister Jägermeister US. Everything that I do falls in line with what I was doing, as I said. So like tons of education, tons of mentorship, a lot of, anything and everything that has to do with, cocktail creation, touching bartenders, scaling education, event activations, like a lot of also innovation. So we'll talk a little bit about it, but Jägermeister cold brew coffee, which is our newest innovation.
The cold brew is so good.
Thank you very much. So I got to be a part of that. I got to be a part of that build.
Yeah.
So, and we launched that in 2020, and then COVID hit. So we did a hard stop, and globally we put about $8.5 million into the industry's pocket with wonderful campaigns and called Save the Night. So we were, working with bartenders, DJs, chefs, roadies, artists, you name it. We were working with them through the time of COVID. And then as we've now started to come out of it a little bit, we've put cold brew back out there. So we're really, really, really believe in it. It's a wonderful, wonderful liqueur. It has Jägermeister at its base. So you get the wonderful botanicals that Jägermeister has. And then there's our own cold brew that we create. So it's from Brazil and Colombia, medium roast. And then it has a little bit of cacao from the Ivory Coast, Forastero, that kind of rounds it out a little bit. Yeah, it's really nice.
Amazing.
Man.
We have the base here, the Jägermeister base. Which
Fantastic.
And Abigail behind us. Hey, Abigail.
Turn on my mic. Hey,
Yes.
Abigail from Loa Bar, which is where we are. Right?
We're going to have a little sip of the base, and then Abigail's going to make a cocktail with the base.
So this is Jägermeister OG. This is the green bottle. This is the foundation product. This has been around since 1934. The company started in 1888 with Wilhelm Mast, and Kurt Mast created this as he came of age, working with a local pharmacist friend of his in downtown Wolfenbüttel. And that's how we got all the botanicals. And, the wonderful story is that Kurt, helped his father's business thrive. Yeah. And so it's been around since 1934. It's like a German Amaro.
Exactly.
It is.
And some of the greatest products ever produced in our industry come from pharmacists, which is amazing.
Abigail, can you tell us what do you have happening?
I am going down a little tropical route with some perfect puree mango passion fruit.
Yummy.
I'm also using some Monin habanero lime, some fresh squeezed lime juice, and then we're gonna go all in on some Jägermeister in there. Hey, is it true that they first launched this in New Orleans in the States?
Yes, thank
In
you
the
for
90s?
mentioning. No, 1972. This is the 50th anniversary of Jägermeister, and that's why we're doing so much down here this week.
Yeah.
And do you know what bar?
Was it on Bourbon Street?
Fritzel's Jazz Bar.
Fritzel's, that's right, of course, Fritzel's.
Wow.
I did know that.
Gunter was the owner, Gunter Suter.
That is one of my
And he
favorite.
was suitcasing it in.
I always tell people, like, if you're going to go to Bourbon Street, you got to hit Fritzel's. It's like
it's
the
such
place.
a great bar.
So my bar mentor, St. John Frizzell, went to Tulane here, and he said this was all the rage in college, of course, here in New Orleans. And the rumor was it was made from deer's blood. Have you heard that rumor?
Yeah, I've heard that, but I also,
It's a good story.
leave it as a mystery, I guess.
I like it. I like it. The mystery still. No, calling it a German Amaro is definitely how I talk about it.
Yeah.
It's it has those wonderful Amaro notes to it.
I always get, when I smell it on the nose, I always get cardamom and coffee and ginger and
cardamom
some
right
citrus.
up front.
Cardamom, right? Yeah.
This brings back so many memories. I go way back with
And hopefully it runs the gamut of some good and some bad, because guess what?
Yeah.
You got to have bad times to have good times too,
So a question I have for you, and I'm sure you think about it and get asked this question often. How did you turn Jaeger around? I mean, I feel like Jaeger had a sort of a somewhat of a reputation as a shot drink, and it still does. But how did you kind of elevate the brand? Because you have been quite influential in taking the brand back.
I can't take all of that. We have a wonderful team. We work with some incredible human beings, and it's a blessing to have that. So it's a team effort, honestly, through and through. But I think we really just put a lot of effort, pride, authenticity, love, care into, you know, all of the programs and the marketing programs and everything that we do around it is about bringing people together and bringing, you know, and celebrating moments. That to me is like the core, and enjoying the best nights of your life and whatever that means to you, you know?
Yeah.
And for me, and particularly within the trade, you know, I've really just been showing people how it can be versatile, how it can work really wonderful in citrus tiki style cocktails. It also can be a wonderful stirred,
Beautiful.
like a stirred drink, like an
Yeah.
old fashioned. You
Is
do
that
a double base.
Yes.
Well, salute, guys.
Wow.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Thank
Cheers.
you, Abigail.
Oh yeah, look at that.
OMG.
Correct.
This is delicious.
This is really good.
Abigail.
I
Yeah,
love
that's very
the
good.
herb. So
Very herbaceous. Yeah.
What did you put in here, please?
So it's Jägermeister, lime,
I get the passion fruit.
habanero lime,
and the mango.
perfect
Mhm.
puree, mango passion fruit.
Just
and,
enough of that
and
spice.
it's
really
just
tart.
tarragon.
Yeah.
It's coming through beautifully.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the spice is like an after thing. It's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
We
What a
have
great
we
drink.
love our fresh herbs here at Loa. It's kind of like one of the
Nice.
signatures, always has been one of the signatures of this bar for 25 years.
Oh, right on.
So I love being able, they're not just for show, but incorporating them in cocktails is really important to me.
Well done.
I
Thank you
think
for
that was
this.
great.
This is beautiful.
Thank
Do you have a
you.
name for it?
No, I don't. We have to create a name
People at
for
home,
it.
you know, send in your.
Send it in.
Send it in.
You could win a bottle of Jaeger cold brew.
Oh,
That's a possibility.
I love it.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I just said it. I just created it.
Don't
I just am
hesitate.
putting you on the spot here. We'll see what we can do with something, some kind of swag.
Send in your
If
ballot.
not that. But
Oh.
Willy, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for everything that you do for our industry, and it's
Yeah.
so great to see your face.
Well, let me tell you something, guys. You know, and I told you when I saw you last, I was like, congratulations, man, because what you're doing and what you've always done is, you know, pretty fantastic and pretty amazing. And being a dad and a family and doing what you do and doing it together, you two, like,
Thank
awesome, guys. Congratulations, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is your outro music. by the way.
Oh, sick.
Well,
Isn't that cool?
It's an
That means
honor.
I got to stop
That means,
talking
yes,
now.
that means you gotta wrap it up. It's like the Oscars.
It's such an honor to have had you here as our guest, and great to see you.
Yeah, great to see you
After
too.
a long absence,
Such
of
a-
not seeing
Yeah,
you.
such a pleasure.
Thanks, Willy.
Brother, thanks, man.
Thank you.
All right, all the best, everybody.
Okay. So this next segment, Dad,
Yes, John.
is brought
Do tell.
to us by Hendrick's Gin, and I'm very thankful to have this guest on because she means a lot to many people in the industry, and I've known her for a very long time, and so have you. And she is a mentor to many people. And Madam, I call her Madam because there's some history there. Charlotte Voisey is here today on our podcast stage. Come on in, Charlotte.
It's one of the most beautiful guests of the day,
Oh.
Charlotte Voisey. Voisey.
Yes,
Or
indeed.
Voisey.
It's pronounced
Hello.
Voisey, but
Voisey, but
that's
I
okay.
like to say Voisey
Thank you. Make me sound more glamorous.
because
there,
she
Jeff.
also reminds me of a beautiful French woman. So, thank you for being here.
Dad.
Charlotte.
You're very welcome.
Dad is just being dad today.
That's okay. That's what we love about you.
I'm old school.
Yes.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm good. It's Tales of the Cocktail and we're back. So
We're back
how could
and
I be
it's in-
better?
it's
It
in-
Back and
feels
better
good.
than ever?
Yes.
Can we say that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I
it's
know.
been a really good energy this week, honestly.
Yeah, it has.
I think there's been a wonderful mix also. There's a lot of people here who haven't been to Tales before. And
Yes.
having that mix of us veterans and the
I know.
newcomers has provided a really good energy.
It's really cool. When I was walking into mainly the nighttime parties, 90% of the people I didn't recognize
Okay.
at all, which is
They all knew you, of course, but
no.
And when we were at this particular venue last night, later in the evening,
We kept
as
that
I
out a
was
little fast.
trying to push through the crowds, I sound like an ABBA song, pushing through the crowds.
that's before our time as well. So
Yes, but not
Definitely
before my
before.
time. And everyone looked so young to me.
yeah,
And I think that's what's happening. As I get older, everyone looks much younger.
it's a good thing. New,
yeah.
new
I used to-
injection of new talent.
enthusiastic talent coming from all over
Yes.
the world
Yes,
here to New Orleans.
it's great.
I mean, it's kind of always been like that, but this year has definitely a different energy and different vibe.
Yeah, which after a couple of years of waiting is really great.
Yeah, I mean, but you guys always put on amazing bashes, at
Thank
Tales of the
you.
Cocktail. I mean, you've got a history of doing that.
We do.
And
Thank you.
This past one 2 nights ago. Was it 2 nights ago? And what was it last night? When?
Tuesday night.
Who knows? I don't remember when I saw
know.
you, but I did.
Tuesday
it's
night.
called Tales Blur.
Yeah, it's real.
I mean, the production value is insane.
Well, so we did our William Grant & Sons portfolio party at the World War II Museum. And what's interesting to note is that's the 3rd time we've been back to that venue.
Yeah.
So if they all have us back, it shows that we put on not only a great time for our guests, but a considered, perhaps even responsible time for the venue too.
Yeah.
And I think a few people were summoning up to me yesterday. It's great energy, really fun. It felt like a wedding where everyone was dancing. Everyone was just happy to be there. There was no kind of expectations or other agenda. It was just like, that good feeling at a wedding where everyone's just dancing and happy.
Yeah,
That's
and
how
you're
it
seeing
felt.
people that you haven't seen in a while, and it's
Yeah.
a big happy family.
It was joyous, just
Joyous,
like
yeah.
like Mamma Mia.
Why do you
What's
have
with the ABBA
yeah,
thing?
what's
Is
with
that
the
a
ABBA
thing?
thing?
Because
I don't
that's my
really
that's,
Are you
that's
trying
my,
to like subconsciously
that-
get a message out
that
there or
is my
something?
that is my probably
Dad,
my
we were-
all-time favorite.
Where were we last
Okay.
night? And ABBA was playing. You were like, "This is my kind of music."
Is
Oh,
this?
yeah.
Did
This
you
is
know
my
this
kind of-
before, or is this
Yes,
like
I
okay?
grew up
And
listening
Well,
to
I-
these CDs.
okay.
And my grandchildren know that. But more importantly,
Yes.
I'm also a lover of Hendrix gin.
Yes.
know.
Thank you
And
for your
you're
support.
welcome. And Hendrix, I believe we can say, rocked the spirit world when it was first introduced.
I am glad you said that.
I
I
did.
agree with
I
you.
did.
Wow.
And there the ABBA reference comes back again. But it took on a
Seriously.
somewhat
Where are we?
Yeah,
it took on a somewhat peculiar path, did it not, when it was first introduced?
it did. It was 1999 that Hendrix was first launched, so approximately 20 years ago. I mean, give or take, but 20th anniversary of Tales. Like we're looking back at 20 years. There's a lot. I think a lot of journeys have come full circle, and the Hendrix journey is one of those. And I honestly believe that it wasn't just disrupting the gin category, but Hendrix was the first to do some of those quirky events for bartenders. It wasn't just, with all due respect, come sit down, learn about the spirit, which is really important and still valued, but it was come play croquet and have cucumber sandwiches, or come join us at 5 a.m. and we'll take you up in a hot air balloon. We're
Right,
trying to, rock the world, I suppose.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
as you
But
put it.
you said something important, and that's cucumber, because cucumber is the one of the primary botanicals.
It's our hero. Yeah,
It
we'd be
is.
nowhere without it.
Yeah. I mean, juniper also, of course, is
But
there.
everyone has juniper.
But everyone has it,
Right.
and nobody else, or at the time, at least, nobody else had cucumber.
yeah,
So it did
and
rock
it
the
was
spirit world.
it was all about just a refreshing flavor profile, right? Because that's at
And
the end
it
of the
is.
day the important
Yeah.
thing about cocktails. So.
Exactly.
Do you have time for a quick cocktail for Abigail to make?
Absolutely,
Okay,
I would love that. Are you kidding me?
that's amazing.
One of the
Abigail.
reasons I agreed to do this with you gentlemen was
It's
because
because of
Abigail was going to
Abigail.
be here.
That's the sell.
It's true.
Yes,
It
we-
was
It's
the
not us.
We are still
I'm
at
honored.
Loa
Thank
Bar.
I think I literally put that in my correspondence
Yeah.
with you, Jonathan.
Yes.
If you go
No,
back
I
and
know.
read the
Yes.
email.
It's true.
All
So
right.
fantastic.
I got some.
Still
you
at
have
the
the
International House Hotel, Loa Bar, with Abigail.
And Abigail's going to make a drink with Neptunia.
Oh, fabulous. We did a seminar this week on salt and salty botanicals
yes.
with our master distiller, Leslie Gracie, is here this week.
wow.
She's
Oh,
on the
cool.
panel with us. So we served Neptunia cocktails there. It went great.
Amazing.
And while we're waiting, may I also mention another botanical that is prominent in Hendrix?
Is
that
it
I
in an ABBA
particularly love?
lyric?
It's not. It's not.
Then
Well,
yes,
it,
you can.
It might be, but I'm not aware. It's rose petals.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so important.
Well, gin, as you know, is aromatic, right? So it was
Yes.
important for us to have a signature aroma for Hendrix too, and that's the rose. Speaking of roses, who's that rose behind the bar?
Oh,
Oh, wait, thank you. I am in love with this Neptunia expression.
Thank you.
They always have such beautiful expressions when they came out, but this was so inspiring the
Good.
moment I tasted it. Because Loa is all about, it means like it's the Haitian voodoo gods.
Okay.
It's the pantheon of Haitian gods. And we are very much about taste of place. And I'm of Scotch-Irish background. So the idea of what do they say here? I just love it. The mighty waves that lash the Irish coast.
yeah.
I was like, yes, this is gonna so fit in. So, I love sherry too.
Of course.
And so I wanted to do like a savory martini with this. So the main ingredients are just the sherry and and the gin. Really simple. And then the artistry kind of comes with the garnish and the presentation, because of course we throw
ladies and
it
gentlemen,
sherry
yes,
style.
Abigail is throwing the cocktail.
Mhm.
Now, don't get confused here. I'm sure you had plenty of drinks thrown at you.
Yeah.
This is a technique of
And
cocktail
beautiful
preparation.
women.
Yeah, exactly. This is a little different, so don't worry. Yeah, it's all good.
Thank you. I'm very comfortable.
So lovely. I could smell it from here. The aromatics of the gin, the aromatics of the sherry, kind of a beautiful blend together.
Wow.
And then what I add to give it kind of a little bit of mouthfeel is we have extra olive oil from Sicily
Oh, wow.
and a little fish sauce from Vietnam. So we're tying in the Vietnamese connection to New Orleans and the Sicilian connection as well. A couple drops in there for mouthfeel. And we serve this with a spent oyster shell and olives on the side and a little lemon twist if you like too.
Fantastic.
But this is called the sanctity of the gods because we're
me.
dealing with all the gods that
Wow.
came from all over the world and then were brought here by the people, their people, and now they exist here in New Orleans. So for you, my dears, the sanctity of the gods.
As I sit here with two gods of the industry,
Yeah.
we all fit in.
It's perfect,
Good
right?
idea.
Very well suited.
Madam,
And our
Wow.
goddess, our resident goddess,
Wow.
Charlotte.
So
Say
do-
that to all your guests.
do you want to?
No.
I've called you Madam twice. Do you want to
Can
tell
I
people
try
why
this?
do I? Yeah, try it, please.
Oh, wow.
It smells.
It's beautiful,
Smell it.
Abigail. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, it's got that coastal sea
Oh,
inspired.
wow. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell people why I call you Madam?
Yeah, like, what was it, 16 years ago, we resurrected the USBG chapter of New York.
Yeah.
And I think, what was there, 3 of us at the first meeting, and there were 3 positions of authority to be filled. So you get one, and I
Right.
was Madam Secretary.
Madam Secretary.
Yeah. I don't know that I actually did anything in that position, but I turned up at least once.
No, yeah.
and
you
earned
did-
myself
You did
the
some
title
stuff.
of Madam.
No, you did some
Yeah.
stuff. Yes, and
Well,
I was
and you were our
Mr. President.
so
Yeah.
Mr. President, yeah.
Well, Madam Secretary,
Yes,
from a president,
yes.
from a I don't know what you are.
ABBA loving
Abba loving,
Hawaiian shirt wearing.
friend.
friend.
That friend.
Yes.
That's
Most
most
importantly.
important.
Yeah.
We're all friends, but thank you so much,
My
Charlotte,
pleasure.
for taking the time out.
I wouldn't miss this.
Amazing.
But I also want to explain why I refer to ABBA so much in
Okay.
your presence. And that's because ABBA has always inspired me, just as you, Charlotte, Voisey, inspires me.
Well,
So
thank
that
you.
is the reason. I rarely talk about ABBA.
I
Because
don't
I'm
believe
rarely
you.
in the presence of people
This is
who
an
inspire.
ABBA segment.
Well,
But this is one of those
I don't know.
important
I don't know.
moments in time.
I don't know what's going on.
So thank you from Hendrick's Gin, Charlotte Voisey.
Thank you for having me
and
very much.
Just delicious.
Thank you.
Delicious.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Enjoy the rest of the tale.
That does it for today's show. Tune in this Thursday for part 2 of our season 1 finale. If you enjoy what we do, please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. You can also support the show with a small monthly donation to help sustain future episodes. Just click on the donate button at the top of our website and choose your donation amount. To learn more about future guests, visit www.thecocktailgurupodcast.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok.
The Cocktail Guru podcast is produced by First Reel Entertainment and distributed by EatsDrinksTV, a service of the Center for Culinary Culture, and is available via Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, and wherever you listen to your favorite shows.